Money can buy kingdoms, shape empires, and even change history forever. But what happens when someone becomes so rich that modern billionaires look poor in comparison? Today on BlastOPast, we uncover the richest people in history, their hidden secrets, shocking lifestyles, and the untold story behind unimaginable wealth. From gold covered palaces to rulers richer than entire nations. This is a journey through power, greed, and history's greatest fortunes. When we think of rich people today, names like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos probably come to mind. But compared to some historical figures, modern billionaires may seem almost ordinary. Historians calculate wealth by comparing old fortune to today's economy, and when adjusted for inflation and influence, some rulers and businessmen from the past were worth hundreds of billions, even trillions. But here's the twist: many of these people didn't just own money, they controlled entire economics, armies, and trade routes. Their wealth shaped civilizations and sometimes destroyed them. Let's reveal the legends behind the money. Our first story begins in 14th century West Africa. Meet Mansa Musa, often called the richest human being who ever lived. He ruled the Mali Empire, one of the world's largest producers of gold at the time. His wealth was so massive, experts say it's impossible to calculate accurately. But his most famous moment happened during his pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324. Mansa Musa traveled with enormous caravan containing thousands of soldiers, servants, camels, and slaves carrying pure gold. And then he accidentally crashed an economy. In Cairo, Musa gave away so much gold to the poor and local merchants that the value of gold dropped for years. Imagine being so rich that simply spending money causes inflation across a region. But there's an untold side to the story. Historians believe his generosity wasn't just kindness, it was also political strategy. By displaying endless wealth, he made the Mali Empire globally famous, and it worked. European maps began showing Mali as a land overflowing with gold. Traders, scholars, and explorers suddenly became obsessed with Africa. His fortune didn't just make him powerful, it made his empire legendary. Next comes a man whose wealth came from something even more powerful than gold: control. Augustus Caesar became the first emperor of Rome after defeating his rivals in brutal civil wars. At his peak, he personally controlled nearly one fifth of the entire Roman Empire's economy. That would be equivalent to trillions of dollars today. But Augustus wasn't famous for luxury alone. He mastered image manipulation long before social media existed. He filled Rome with statues, monuments, and propaganda that portrayed him as savior. He famously said, "I found Rome a city of bricks and left it a city of marble." But behind the glory was a darker truth. To maintain his power, Augustus used spies, political manipulation, and exile against enemies. His wealth and influence were built not only through leadership but fear. And yet, his empire became one of the most successful in history. His story proves that wealth and power often walk side by side. Fast forward to America's industrial age. John D. Rockefeller became the richest businessman in history. He built Standard Oil into a monopoly so powerful that it controlled around 90% of America's oil industry. Rockefeller understood something before almost everyone else. If you control energy, you control the future. But his rise wasn't clean. Critics accused him of crushing competitors, manipulating prices, and using ruthless business tactics. Some called him a genius, others called him a villain. But here's the untold story many people forget. As he grew older, Rockefeller transformed into one of history's biggest philanthropists. He donated enormous amounts to education, science, and medicine. His money helped create institutions that still exist today, from ruthless businessman to global donor. His legacy remains deeply complicated. India's Mughal Empire was once among the richest civilizations on earth, and one of the most powerful rulers was Akbar the Great. During Akbar's reign, India produced a massive share of the world's wealth. His empire overflowed with diamonds, spices, silk, and gold. But Akbar's true strength wasn't treasure, it was intelligence. He encouraged religious discussions, welcomed scholars from different cultures, and reformed taxes to strengthen the economy. While many kings ruled through fear, Akbar ruled through strategy and diplomacy. But palace life had secrets. Royal courts were filled with political games, betrayals, and power struggles hidden behind luxurious walls. In history books, we often see the glory, but behind every empire, there were dangerous battles for control. Not every rich person lived like royalty. Some were trapped by their own wealth. Howard Hughes was a billionaire inventor, filmmaker, and aviation pioneer. He owned airlines, casinos, and movie studios. But despite his fortunes, Hughes became increasingly isolated. He feared germs, avoided people, and spent years hidden inside hotel rooms. At one point, he reportedly communicated mostly through handwritten notes. His story reveals something shocking. Extreme wealth does not guarantee happiness. Behind the glamorous headlines was a man consumed by paranoia and loneliness. And perhaps that's one of history's greatest untold truths. These stories aren't just about money, they're about influence. The richest people in history changed economies, built cities, funded wars, and shaped entire civilizations. Some used wealth to inspire progress, others used it to dominate, and many left behind complicated legacies that historians still debate on today. But there's one thing they all had in common: they understood power, whether through gold, oil, politics, or trade. They discovered ways to control the world around them. History remembers the wealthy, but it also remembers what they did with their wealth. Some became legends, some became warnings, and some became mysteries. The untold story behind their fortunes remind us that money can change lives, but it can also change humanity itself. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden stories of history's richest figures, make sure to like, subscribe, and join the journey here on BlastOPast. Remember, history isn't just about the past, it explains the world we live in today.